Pure Maths P1, February, March 2021. Let's look at this paper. The first question is about binomial expansion. The question says, find the first three terms in the expansion of such and such. 1 plus x raised to power of 5. The first term is 1. So this is 1, 5c1, x raised to power of 1, 5c2, x raised to power of 2, dot, dot, dot. Let's simplify this. 1 plus 5x plus 10x square. These are the first three terms. 1 mark for this. Similarly, find the first three terms in the expansion of such and such. 1 minus 2x raised to power of 6. First term is 1. 6c1, negative 2x raised to power of 1. 6c2, negative 2x raised to power of 2, and so on. 1, 6, negative 2x. 6c2 is 15 into 4x square. After simplification, this is 1 minus 12x plus 60x square. Now, you have the first three terms. I'll also label the topic. So this is P1, binomial expansion. Then it says, hence, find the coefficient of x square in the expansion of these two brackets multiplied together. 1, 5 and 10, that is the coefficient of the first three terms in the first bracket. Second bracket, 1 minus 12x plus 60x square. You are only interested in the coefficient of x square. So multiply this one with this x square, that is the first thing. Multiply this x term with this x term, that is the second step. The last step, multiply 10x square with this one. So add it all up. Coefficient of x square, that is 1 into 60, that's the orange and the orange. The green is 5 into negative 12, and the last is 10 into 1. So therefore this simplifies to 10. If they would have asked for the term in x square, the answer would have been 10x square. Let's look at question number 2. It says, by using a suitable substitution, solve the equation. So as such, it belongs to the basic algebra and maybe quadratic equation. Something similar to, not exactly the same, something similar to disguised quadratic equation. It will become a disguised quadratic equation after the substitution. What do you observe? You observe that this 2x minus 3 is here, 2x minus 3 is here. So let's make a substitution. Let m equals to 2x minus 3. So therefore, m square minus 4 over m square equals to minus 3 equals to 0. Take LCM or cross multiply. M power 4 minus 4 minus 3m square equals to 0. M power 4 minus 3m square minus 4 equals to 0. Now make another substitution. That is, let w equals to m square. Therefore, w square is m power 4. So therefore, w square minus 3w minus 4 equals to 0. W square plus w minus 4w minus 4 equals to 0. W plus 1 minus 4w plus 1 equals to 0. W plus 1, w minus 4 equals to 0. Therefore, w is negative 1. Therefore, w is positive 4. but we are not solving for w initially, we are solving for m square. So therefore m square is equals to w, m square equals to -1, m square equals to 4, no solution, and m is equals to +2 or m equals to -2. But we are not even solving for m. We are solving for x. M is equals to 2x minus 3. But m is equals to 2x minus 3. 2x minus 3 equals to +2. 2x minus 3 equals to -2. 2x equals to 5. X is 5/2. 2x equals to -2 plus 3, which is 1. Therefore, x comes out to be half. So these are the two possible answers. Always make a habit of double checking the question. That is J.
सर अगर हम 2x plus 3 का पूरा ब्रैकेट में स्क्वायर ले लेते तो हमें दो सब्स्टिट्यूशन भी करनी पड़ती है.
Maybe that could be a possibility. You can say that, but it says by using a suitable substitution. So that is why I substituted instead of solving in the original variable. So it's a double substitution question for the very first time. So therefore, x is 5/2. Therefore, x is equals to half. The third question. The third question is about trigonometry, and it's a trigonometric equation. So draw your basics on the side. What two basics are needed in a trig question? You need the knowledge of quadrants, and you need the knowledge of basic angle and the required angle. So this is all the trig ratios are positive, only sine, only tan, only cosine. And this is the first quadrant. Theta is alpha. Theta is 180 degrees minus alpha. We are working in degrees. Theta is 180 degrees plus alpha. Theta is 360 degrees minus alpha. So this is the basic knowledge that's needed. It says solve the equation. Tangent, we know that tangent theta is equals to sine theta divided by cosine theta. So therefore, sine over cosine plus 2 sine. This is the numerator. And also right at the corner, let sine theta be denoted by the symbol S. Let cosine theta be denoted by the symbol C. So sine over cos plus 2 sine divided by sine over cos minus 2 sine. I'm writing it like this. I'm first simplifying the fraction. That is sine plus 2 sine cos divided by cos divided by sine minus 2 sine cos divided by cos. Sine plus 2 sine cos divided by sine minus 2 sine cos. Because the cosine and the cosine after the flipping would cancel off. Now this thing is equal to 3. This thing equals to 3. This thing equals to 3. Now let's multiply. So therefore this is sine plus 2 sine cos. This is 3 sine minus 6 sine cos. Take all the terms on one side. Do not divide, because if you divide, you lose half of the solution. So therefore, sine minus 3 sine, that's minus 2 sine. And this is 2 plus 6, that is 8 sine cosine equals to 0. Take 2 common out. Take sine common out. You are left with minus 1 plus 4 cosine equals to 0. 2 sine equals to 0. In other words, sine equals to 0. 4 cosine minus 1 equals to 0. Therefore, cosine comes out to be 1/4. Now, let's focus on the range. The range of values is 0 to 180. And is it inclusive? The answer is no. When sine equals to 0, you just draw a simple curve. That is something like this. This is one cycle from 0 till 360. But sine is 0 at 0, sine is 0 at 180. But since the range is x lies between 0 and 180, non-inclusive, So you are getting no answers for this part, even though you took common out. For this part, what will you do? You will solve using the 4-step method. What is the 4-step method? Number 1 step, that is the quadrants. So therefore, step 1, that is first and fourth quadrant. Whether it's applicable or not, that we will see later. Step 2 is calculation of the basic angle. So that's step 3. Step 2 is the range. Theta lies between 0 and 180. Step 3, that is calculation of basic angle. Cosine of alpha is 0.25 and you will get some particular value of alpha. And last but not the least, last step, that is step 4. That is theta is equals to this value. Theta equals to 360 minus this value. Since your answers should lie within this range, this is accepted and this one is rejected. So reject at the very, very end. So you only end up with one answer. Question number 4. What is the question all about? This question looks like it's about quadratics. So the question says, a line has this equation y is equals to 3x plus k. A curve has this equation y is equals to x square plus kx plus 6, where k is a constant. Find the set of values of k. That means inequality. Remember, the word set of values, it will mean that an inequality will be used, for which the line and the curve have two distinct points of intersection. In other words, b square minus 4ac is greater than 0. First, make a single quadratic equation. X square plus kx plus 6 equals to 3x plus k. X square plus kx minus 3x plus 6 minus k equals to 0. Simplify it further. X square, k minus 3 is the coefficient of x. 6 minus k is the constant term. Compare coefficient with ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. Now, consider it necessary that you should always have all the coefficients on the side, variable on the side. Consider it necessary that you have this constant also separated out in a bracket. So this is the constant, this is the coefficient of x, and nothing is over here, therefore this is 1. So a is 1, b is k minus 3, c is 6 minus k. Feels like you would end up with a quadratic inequality. How many marks? 5 marks. So now you would say b square minus 4ac is greater than 0. K minus 3 whole square minus 4 into 1 into 6 minus k is greater than 0. K square minus 6k plus 9 minus, I'm keeping the minus on the outside. 4 into 6 is 24. 4 into minus k is negative 4k. Is greater than 0. Open it up. K square minus 6k plus 9 minus 24 plus 4k is greater than 0. K square minus 2k. Difference of 24 and 9 is 15 plus 15 is greater than 0. Always remember, whenever you have a quadratic inequality, always factorize. So therefore, k square minus 5k plus 3k minus 15 is greater than 0. K minus 5 plus 3 k minus 5 is greater than 0. K minus 5 k plus 3 is greater than 0. Draw the x-axis, draw a curve, label the values, plus 3 becomes negative 3, negative 5 becomes plus 5. We are interested in which region? We are interested in the region above the x-axis. So, two separate regions, two separate answer, extreme right, extreme left. Therefore, the final answer is k is greater than 5 and k is lesser than negative 3. Use a comma. Do not write and, do not write or. Simply use a comma sign. So that's how this 5-mark question of question number 4 is done. Question number 5. Definitely, it's a question of transformation of graphs. So transformation of graphs. There were 6 transformations, if you would remember. Now, whenever you look at this question, instead of reading the question, first focus on the graph itself. If I focus on the graph, there are 3 points that I can consider. The first point is this particular point, and that corresponds to this. The second one is this particular point that corresponds to this. The third one is this blue point, and that corresponds to this. Now, what do you observe? If I look at the y-coordinate, the y-coordinate of 2 became 6, 3 times. The y-coordinate of 1 became 3, naturally 3 times. Again, this 2 became 6. So that means the first thing that I observe is that there is some kind of stretch parallel to y-axis, and that stretch factor is 3 because it's being multiplied by 3. The second thing that I observe is that there is some kind of movement to the side. So if I were to first simply stretch it, my red point would become 6. I'm simply stretching the original up. And then the green one would actually be something, 1 would become 3, something like this. And the blue point would actually be 2 becoming 6. So the original graph would be something like this. Let me draw it. So this is like this. Ignore the thickness, and this is like this. That is like 1 step up. Now that graph is shifted to the right. How many units? The graph is shifted from here. You can better to count from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. The red one moves 4 units. The blue one, 1, 2, 3, 4. Naturally, it would move uniformly, 4 units. So basically, the next thing is a translation. It's a translation of 4 units to the right. So these are the 2 transformations that I observe. Now let's read the question. In the diagram, the graph of y is equals to fx is shown with solid lines. So the original one is the solid. The graph shown with broken lines is a transformation. Describe fully 2 single transformations of this that have been combined to give the resulting transformation. I have already said that. So what have I said? It's a stretch parallel to x-axis, parallel to y-axis with a scale factor of 3, and then it's a translation of 4 units to the right. So this is in words. So question, this 4 mark is 2 marks for this and 2 marks for this. This is in words with the right numbers. But now what does it say? State in terms of y and f and x the equation of the graph with broken lines. So y is the subject and the scale factor is 3. There is a function fx, but it's not a simple fx because that function have been shifted to the right. So this is x minus 4 because in horizontal minus means right. So this is translation. And this one is that stretch factor of 4 units of stretch factor of 3 parallel to y-axis. So that's how this equation is written. 1 mark for writing the 3 in the correct place, 1 mark for writing -4 in the correct place. Question number 6. Let's look at this. It says a curve is such that dy by dx is 6 over 3x minus 2 whole cube, 3x minus 2 raised to power of minus 3. You have to take it up. A is a point, 1, -3. A point is moving along the curve. The y coordinate of the point is increasing at a rate of 3 units per second. What is this question all about? This looks like it's about rates of change. And I have a feeling it will also be about integration because the gradient function is given and they will be asking for the equation of the curve. So it's a combination of both. So now, first of all, you will write y, x, t. Y in terms of x, y is dependent on x is dependent on t. In other words, y is dependent upon t. So therefore, dy by dt, dy by dx into dx by dt. What are you given? You are given dy by dt is 3 units per second. What do you need? Dy by dx. Can you calculate it? Yes, you can. Because when x is 1, dy by dx, that is 6 over 3 minus 2 is 1, 1 cube is 1. So therefore, 6 multiplied by dx by dt. So in other words, dx by dt is positive. Take care of that. And this is half. And why am I taking care of the positive? Because since they say y is increasing, so x is increasing at a rate of half units per second. It's a good idea to write this. As such, the working is done when you write dx by dt. Half units per second. But it's better that you write it further inwards. If this answer for some scenario, for some reason came out to be negative, that means it is decreasing. Next part. Find the equation of the curve. 6, 3x minus 2 raised to power of minus 3. 6, 3x minus 2 raised to power of minus 3 dx. You integrate it. 6 is a silent spectator. Chain rule is applicable. Why chain rule is applicable? Let's think about it. Ax plus b raised to power of n dx, that is ax plus b, increase the power by 1, divide by the new power. Don't forget to divide by coefficient of x or derivative of bracket. What is the first and foremost condition? That is, it should be a linear expression, linear function in the bracket. Otherwise, this is not applicable. Of course, the question would have been something else. If it was to be a quadratic, it would be something like 6, 3x minus 2 raised to power of 2. You have to open up each bracket and then integrate each term. Open up the bracket and integrate each term. So now this is 6 as it is, minus 3 plus 2. Derivative of bracket is 3. So minus 3 plus 2 is minus 1. 6 over 3 is 2. This is negative 2. 1 over 3x minus 2 plus c. How do you evaluate c? You plug in a value. A is 1 and minus 3. When x is 1, y is negative 3. So negative 3 minus 2, 1 over 3 minus 2 plus c. You will find the value of c. Therefore, the equation is minus 2 over 3x minus 2 plus this value of c. Okay. When x is 1, y is minus 3. Any question? Yeah.
Minus 3 plus 2
My bad. Okay. So let me correct it. Thank you. So this is minus 3 plus 1 correction ko, I'm writing it with a red marker. Minus 3 plus 1 is minus 2. Minus 2 into 3 is minus 6. So therefore, this value will be changed. This value would be changed. This value would be changed. So therefore, this is negative 1. This is negative 1. This is negative 1. And then you'll find the value of C. Question number 7. This is functions. Function f and g are defined as follows. F is a quadratic function and gx is a linear function. First thing is about completing square method. X square plus 2x plus 3. We are going to apply completing square. Coefficient of x square is 1. It's all good. X square plus 2x plus bracket square minus bracket square plus 3. What goes inside the bracket? Half the coefficient of x. Rewrite the first 3 terms as a perfect square. This is x plus 1 whole square. Minus 1 plus 3 is negative 2. So this is of this form. This is fx. This is fx and so on. Make a habit of writing ax minus h whole square plus k. That is the standard form. A is 1, positive, that's the shape. H is negative 1, k is negative 2, negative 1, negative 2 is the coordinate of the turning point of the curve. Find an expression for f inverse. And the next part, solve this equation. Expression for f inverse. What is special about this? Anything that is related to quadratics. If the original function is quadratic, the inverse is radical. That means square root is there. Right of turning point, the square root has a positive sign. Left of turning point, the square root has a negative sign. Now, which way are you going? One more thing. We have to also write down the range of f. I'm coming to that. First of all, we are going to the left of turning point. Therefore, over here, the square root will have a negative sign. Let me first calculate the range. Over here, the coordinate of the turning point is negative 1, negative 2. So this is negative 1. This is negative 2. This is the curve. And you are going to the left of turning point. So the graph is like this. What is the range? The range is fx is greater than negative 2. Is it inclusive? Yes, it is inclusive. Greater than or equal to negative 2. Expression for f inverse. We will use the completed square form. Fx is x plus 1 whole square minus 2. Fx is x plus 1 whole square minus 2. Let y equals to fx. Therefore, f inverse y equals to x. Therefore, y is equals to x plus 1 whole square minus 2. Y plus 2 square root is equals to x plus 1. Give the square root a negative sign from the beginning. Make x the subject, that is 1 minus square root y plus 2. But what is x equals to? X is f inverse y. In other words, f inverse x is equals to 1 minus square root x plus 2. Solve the equation g fx is equals to 13. Fx is x plus 1 whole square minus 2. Gx is a linear expression which is 2x plus 1. So this is 2x plus 1. Let me double check the... Gx is 2x plus 1. Therefore, g of fx, that means fx goes inside gx. That is 2 fx plus 1. That is 2 x plus 1 whole square minus 2 plus 1. Take care of it. That whole thing goes inside. Now over here you could have either used the original format, the general form, or this form. That's your choice. So therefore this is 2 x plus 1 whole square minus 4 plus 1. That is 2x plus 1 whole square minus 3. And now I'm equating it to 13. So equate it to 13. So 2x plus 1 whole square equals to 16. X plus 1 whole square is equals to 8. Therefore, x plus 1 is equals to plus minus square root of 8. And then you make x the subject. And that is the working for this one. Question number 8 looks like a question of circle equation. Now it says there are 3 points on a circle. So this is a circle. There are 3 points. A is 7, 1, B is 7, 9, 7, 1, 7, 9. So for example, if I say this is 7, 9 and directly below it should be 7, 1. 7, 1 is A, 7, 9 is B, and 1, 9 is C. So 1, 9 is C. So therefore, this is 1, 9. It's not drawn to scale. Okay. Now, do we know that any one of them is the diameter? We are not sure about that. The examiner gives full-fledged 5 marks for this. What can we do? There are 2 approaches to this question. Let me write both of them. Approach 1. Prove that it's a right angle triangle. Prove that ABC is right angled. If you can prove this, you can say side opposite to 90 degree is the diameter. That's a circle property. The diameter produces a 90 degree angle at the circumference. If you can prove this, things would follow. You can find the center, you can find the radius, and then you can find the equation. Option 2, if you fail at proving this, then you have this option. You have chords. And you have a chord AB, you have a chord BC, you have a chord CB. And then you find perpendicular bisectors of chord. They meet at center of circle. That is simultaneous equation and coordinate geometry and so on. Now I have a feeling that this might be, let me try my luck. Let me start with the right angle triangle. So if I have A, which is 7, 1, and if I have B, which is 7, 9, similarly I have B, which is 7, 9, and I have C, which is 1, 9, and then I have A, which is 7, 1, and I have C, which is 1, 9. Let me either find 3 distances or let me either find 3 gradients. If I find distances, I'll apply Pythagoras theorem. If I find gradient, any 2 multiplied to giving you -1, that means the angle is 90 degree. Both options are possible. I think I'll go with the distances. AB, 7, 7 is 0, 9 minus 1 is 8, 8 square, which is 64. I'm deliberately writing in terms of square root. BC, 7 minus 1 is 6, 6 square, that is 36. And the numbers are speaking it's for itself. I think the next one should be 100. AC, 7 minus 1 is 6 square, and 1 minus 9 is 8 square under root. That comes out to be root 100. Yes, it's a right angle triangle. So why? Because root 100 square is basically root 64 square plus root 36 square. So it fulfills Pythagoras theorem. Only a right angle triangle can fulfill this. Which is the greatest side? The greatest side is AC. So AC becomes the hypotenuse. A and C are the endpoints. Double check. These two are the endpoints. So C and A, it will make the diameter. So let me draw a nice line. So let me draw this orange line. So this is the diameter. That means what I need is that I need to find what is the length of this diameter, midpoint. So A is 7,1. B is, sorry, not B, C. C is 1,9. Midpoint is 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 10 divided by 2 is 5. That's the midpoint. And the radius is either MA or the radius is either MC. So let me calculate MA. 7 minus 4 is 3 square. 1 minus 5 is 4 square. Another smooth number. That comes out to be 5. Therefore, the equation of a circle is x minus h whole square. Y minus something whole square is equals to r square. What is the center? 4 and 5. That is the equation of the circle. Next part. Find the equation of the tangent to the circle at B. I have the midpoint 4, 5. I have point B. What is B? Midpoint to B. B is 7, 9. Let me calculate this gradient. Gradient of BM. That is 5 minus 9 over 4 minus 7. 5 minus 9 is negative 4. 4 minus 7 is negative 3. So that comes out to be 4/3. Gradient of perpendicular would be negative 3/4. Which property is used? Radius is perpendicular to tangent at the point of contact. So the tangent will be at B. So y minus y1 is equals to mx minus x1. What is the gradient? Gradient is negative 3/4. What is the coordinate of B? 7, 9. 7 goes over here, 9 goes over here. That is the equation. Question number 9. The question says it's about AP and most probably it's going to be about GP also. The first term of a progression is cosine theta. Theta lies between 0 and 90. That means the value of cosine theta is positive. That's why they have written it. For the case where the progression is geometric, the sum to infinity is this thing. What is the formula for sum to infinity? A over 1 minus r. It says sum to infinity is 1 over cosine theta. First term of the progression is cosine theta. What am I interested in? First of all, I'm interested in r. So therefore, 1 minus r is equals to cosine square theta. 1 minus cosine square theta is r. What is 1 minus cosine square? Sine square theta. That means your first term is cosine theta. Your common ratio is sine square theta. Therefore, they are asking for the second term, which is AR, which is cosine theta, sine square theta. Then it says, find the sum of the first 12 terms when theta is pi by 3. When theta is pi by 3, what is the first term? Cosine. Therefore, cosine of pi by 3 is half. What is the common ratio? Sine of pi by 3 whole square, because r is sine square theta. Sine theta, the whole thing square. Sine of pi by 3 is root 3 over 2, the whole thing square. That comes out to be 3 over 4. Now it's a normal question. So therefore, n is 12, sum of 12 terms. I'll simply write it down. That is A, r to the power 12 minus 1 over r minus 1. You can also write the other one, sum of 12 terms, a 1 minus r to the power 12 over 1 minus r. Simply plug in and you get the answer. They're asking for the answers to correct 4 significant figures, so you have to use a calculator rather than exact form. Now it says, for the case where the progression is arithmetic, the first two terms, the first term is still cosine theta. So the first two terms is cosine theta and the second term is cosine theta sine square theta. Actually, it's used the second term as before. But now we are not dealing with common ratio, we are dealing with common difference. Find the 85th term when theta is pi by 3. So therefore, cosine of pi by 3 is half. We already wrote that. Sine of pi by 3 whole square is 3 over 4. First term is half. Second term is half multiplied by 3/4. That is half. And this is 3 over 8. So therefore, a is half. And a plus d, which is t2, is 3 over 8. Therefore, d is 3 over 8 minus half. And n is 85. Therefore, the 85th term is a plus 84d. Plug the things and you get the answer. Next question. This was a nice one. I think the most intelligent question ever that came in circular measure. So this is circular measure. It says the diagram shows a sector ABC, which is part of a circle of radius A. So when it talks about the sector, this is the sector. This and this and this. And it says AD and AE is equals to KA. This is KA, this is KA. K is less than 1. What does it mean? K could be half. Less than 1 does not necessarily mean negative. Keep that in mind. Naturally, it's about length. So in this question, length cannot be negative. So actually, what they are saying is that K lies between 0 and 1. It cannot be negative. K could be 3/4, K could be 0.8 and so on. Now it says the line DE divides the region into divides the sector into two regions such that they are equal in areas. That means area of triangle is equal to area of segment. Agreed? Can I also write this? That area of sector is 2 times area of triangle. So I don't have to do any subtraction. Because that's 1, this is 1, the whole thing is 2. So area of sector is twice area of triangle. So now it says, for the case where the angle BAC is pi by 6, find K correct to 4 significant figures. Now first of all, triangle. What's the name of the triangle? ADE. Area is half AB sine C. That's half into KA into sine of pi by 6. That is half K square A square and sine of pi by 6 is half. Correct? Similarly, the sector, what's the name? ABC. The formula for area is half r square theta. That is half. R is A and B, the radius is A square and theta is pi by 6. Done? Now this area half into A square into pi by 6 is 2 times half into K square into A square into half. This is pi by 6 and this is half. Now what would cancel out? This half and A square. This half and A square would cancel out. So when it cancels out, what are you left with? You're left with pi by 6. And you are left with simply K square because this 2 and this 2 also cancels out. So therefore, the value of k is square root of pi divided by 6, which is 3.142 divided by 6 square root, and that's where the accuracy comes in. Now remember these expressions because they are going to be used in the second part. That's why I have written partially in black, partially in red, partially in black, partially in purple, because these values would be changed. What will happen? Actually, I should write this thing also in red. This sine of pi by 6 is sine of pi by 6. Now, let's focus on the next part. For the general case in which the angle is theta and theta lies between such and such, it is given that theta over sine theta is greater than 1. Now, you won't understand the logic why they have given it this. There is a particular angle. Naturally, sine theta is positive because sine of any angle between 0 and 90 is positive, and theta is such that this ratio, it's not just about positive. It's about the value of theta is bigger than sine of theta. Whatever that angle is, we don't care. Find the set of possible values of k. Now, what has this thing to do with k for 3 marks? Although it should be at least 5 marks. First of all, the paragraph, the diagram is the same. This expression, area of triangle, half k square a square into sine of pi by 6. Area of triangle is half k square a square. This time, instead of sine of pi by 6, this is sine of theta. Area of sector is how much? Area of sector is half a square pi by 6. That is half a square, and instead of sine of theta, this is theta. Getting the idea? Instead of pi by 6, it's theta. Instead of sine pi by 6, this is sine of theta. Relationship is the same. Half a square theta equals to 2 times half k square a square and sine of theta. This is sine of theta. This is theta. What will cancel out? Half in a square, half in a square. Cancels off. What are you left with? You are left with theta. You are left with 2k square sine of theta. So far so good. Theta over sine of theta is equal to 2k square. Now here comes the relationship. That is, this thing theta over sine theta should be greater than 1. Since theta over sine theta should be greater than 1, it follows 2k square should be greater than 1. Correct? Now comes quadratic inequality. So you would say k square is greater than half. Factorize. K square minus half is greater than 0. K plus 1 over root 2. And k minus 1 over root 2 is greater than 0. Factorization. After factorization, it's a small sketch. And what are the values? The values is 1 over root 2 and negative 1 over root 2. Agreed? Greater than 0 means separate region, separate region. So therefore, k is greater than 1 over root 2 and k is lesser than minus 1 over root 2. But the question is not over yet. Because there is also a condition on k. What is the condition of k? K is less than 1. But what condition have I written? Less than 1 but not negative. So therefore, coming back to this, you would first of all reject this answer. This is gone. This is there, but till what? 1 over root 2 in calculator, it's 0.7071. That means if I draw a number line and this is k is greater than 1 over root 2, but the limiting value is 1 also. It has to be less than 1. So therefore, the final answer is K lies between 1 and 1 over. Sahi hai? Now comes to the last. Now we are at the very last question. That is integration and tangent and maximum. So it's a combination of both. So it's a combination of differentiation. It's a combination of integration. Let's look at the question. A graph is there. The diagram shows the curve. The curve crosses the x-axis at point A. When a curve crosses x-axis, y-coordinate is 0. That is what you're interested in. Find the x-coordinate of A. So y equals to 0. 9 disappears. Throw it out. And write it in the third form. So this is 1 over square root of x minus 4 over x root x equals to 0. Have I written it correctly? X raised to power of 3 over 2, indices. X raised to power of 3 over 2 is x raised to power of half into x raised to power of 1. It was negative 3 over 2. Therefore, if you want to add a step further, y equals to 9, 1 over x raised to power of half minus 4 x raised to power of 3 over 2. Basically, I started from here. So this 3 over 2 is this and this. Now what? Be very careful. 1 over root x is 4 over x root x. Cross multiply x root x is 4 root x. Again, I am taking care of something which you should all take care of. That is, do not divide whenever there is a possibility of taking common. There is a possibility of taking common. So therefore, x root x minus 4x root x, x root x minus 4 root x equals to 0. Root x minus 4 equals to 0. Root x equals to 0. Therefore, x is 0. X minus 4 equals to 0. Therefore, x is 4. Now, this is not shown in the graph. But what it means is that the graph would be cutting the origin somewhere. Maybe for some reason. We don't know. But we are rejecting this. We are accepting this. So x is equals to 4. Therefore, the coordinate of A is 4, C. Second part. Find the equation of the tangent to the curve at A, that is differentiation. Y equals to, now you need the indices format. That is 9 x raised to power of minus half minus 4 x raised to power of minus 3 over 2. I'll just do a bit of differentiation. Dy by dx, 9 as it is, minus half x minus 3 over 2. In differentiation, it reduces by 1, correct? Minus 4 minus 3 over 2 x raised to power of minus 5 over 2. Because when you're doing differentiation and integration, be very careful. This is 9, and as it is minus half, this is 1 over x raised to power of 3 over 2. And 4 and 3 is 12. 12 over 2 is 6. So that is plus 6x raised to power of 5 over 2. And what is the value at A? When x is 4, you need to calculate dy by dx, which I'll do it in a short while. The y coordinate is already 0. So the equation would be y minus y1 is equals to mx minus x1. Y minus 0 is equals to this value, x minus 4. Now coming to this value. X raised to power of 3 over 2, x raised to power of 5 over 2. We practice such thing in integration. X raised to power of 3 over 2 can be written as x raised to power of 3 raised to power of half. It can be written as x raised to power of half raised to power of 3. By the same token, x raised to power of 5 over 2 can be written as x raised to power of 5 raised to power of half, x raised to power of half raised to power of 5. Since the value of x is 4, I'll choose this. It's easy to work with. Square root of 4 and then cube. So 2 cube is 8. And square root of 4 and then raised to power of 5. 2 raised to power of 5 is 32. So then you would plug these values in, evaluate, and you will get your gradient. Part C. What is this about? Find the x coordinate of the maximum point on the curve. So you have already done the differentiation. So dy by dx is equals to 0, only asking for the x coordinate, only asking for the stationary value and not to prove it's a max or a min. So therefore you have this thing, minus half 1 over x raised to power of 3 over 2, and then it is plus 6x raised to power of 5 over 2. The 9, because of 0, would disappear. This equals to 0. And the working is, I think I'll get rid of this 2. So this is 1 over x root x. And this is 6 into 2 would become negative. And I'm multiplying by minus 2 actually. So this is x square root x equals to 0. Does this look fine? 5 over 2 is 2 plus half. 3 over 2 is 1 plus half. So x power 1, x power half, x square, x power half. Okay? So it's very, very basic indices. So now we would say 1 over x root x is equals to 12 over x square root x, and it's just working like the first part. X square root x is equals to 12x root x. X square root x minus 12x root x equals to 0. So therefore x root x is taken common, x is left, minus 12 equals to 0, x is 0 and x is 12. This is what you're interested in. Find the x coordinate of the maximum point. But can it be 0? Yes, it can be 0, but I think it will go with this one because it's not showing that it's touching the x-axis, the origin or something like that. Find the area of the region bounded by the curve, the x-axis and the line x is equals to 9. That is integration area between 4 and 9. It's not 0 and 9, it's 4 and 9. Why? Because this is 4, somewhere here is 9, and this is the shaded region between 4 and 9. So this is x raised to power of minus half minus 4 x raised to power of minus 3 over 2 dx. Put the 9 on the outside. This 9 is part of the formula. This 9 is the limits, upper limit. 9 as it is, x raised to power of minus half plus 1 minus half plus 1 minus 4 x raised to power of minus 3 over 2 plus 1 minus 3 over 2 plus 1. Just simplify it a bit. 9 as it is, minus half plus 1 is half, division by half is multiplication by 2. Minus half plus 1 is half, this is 2 root x. Minus 3 over 2 plus 1 is negative half. Negative half becomes positive 2. Minus 4 into 2 is 8. And this is 8 into x raised to power of minus half. Simplify it even further. 2 root x plus 8 over root x. So I think this question is dedicated to surds and indices. And then we have the limits. This is 4, this is 9. Let's complete the whole thing. This is 2 root 9 plus 8 over root 9 minus 2 root 4 plus 8 over root 4. And then you would evaluate, and that is units square. That is the answer for this part. And I think that finishes this February-March 2021 P1 paper.